Is there a world where the
No.
Knicks make this interesting?
No.
Sweep?
No.
Oh, damn.
I don't know of anybody who knows basketball that legitimately sees the Knicks winning more than one game in this series.
So I'm going to be the first person to do it. The New York Knicks will beat the Boston Celtics in the second round of the NBA playoffs, and here's why. So when you take a look at the regular season, the Knicks lost 4-0 over the Celtics. They lost on average by 16 points. The Celtics shot 48.3% from three. They made 21 threes a game. They shot 50% from the field, and they averaged 125 points per game. I mean, losing by 16 on average in 4 game span is pretty bad. But then you start to look at it and, well, okay, if the Celtics are shooting that hot on average, it means the Knicks are playing zero defense. So they have to make adjustments. And then you look at the offensive side of the ball. Well, OG Anunoby averaged 9 points per game, shot 30% from the field, and shot 13% from three. Mikal Bridges shot 32% from three. Cat averaged about 20 points on like 53% from three. So Cat was good. But defensively, the Knicks have a lot of work to do. And we saw against the Pistons, the Knicks were able to defend them well, but the Pistons are not the Celtics. The Celtics are a team that shoot more threes than twos, and they make them, and they play 5 out. But then also you have to realize that the Knicks, well, they constructed their team this offseason to be able to compete with the Celtics. Last year, the Knicks won 50 games. Of course, they had Isaiah Hartenstein and Dante DiVincenzo. It was a fun team, really one of the more fun Knicks teams we've ever had in our franchise history, which I get kind of says a lot about our success, but still, it was a great physical 90s style type of Knicks team. And then the Knicks decided to break it up to build this new team with Mikal and, of course, with Karl-Anthony Towns. They re-signed OG, gave him the most expensive contract in Knicks history. So the Knicks should be able to switch everything. The problem is that they don't. They play drop coverage, and the Celtics feast off of it. The Cavs feast off of it. The Thunder feast off of it. So Tibbs has to realize that we're not going to be able to defend the Celtics by doing that. We have to switch everything, and we can't be afraid to do so. Now, you think about it, well, how exactly are the Knicks going to do that? Because they've got Jalen Brunson, who's a defensive liability, and then they've got Karl-Anthony Towns, who's a defensive liability. Now, a lot of Knicks fans don't like to hear this, and trust me, I'm getting to my point. I'm just getting the obvious out of the way of why people don't think the Knicks are going to win. Brunson and Cat were bottom 5 defenders, right? We know that, right? You look at the numbers, they were terrible. I mean, if you give up 48.3% of threes, you're doing something wrong. I mean, it's just as simple as that. You're giving wide open looks. Teams don't fear your defense, and they're thriving off of it. The spacing's way too good and comfortable. And I think the thing about the Knicks is that they can completely change the series if they make an adjustment, not only switching everything, but what about having two bigs out there in Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson? Because now all of a sudden you're getting more rebounds, so you're getting second chance opportunities. You're preventing the Celtics from getting an offensive rebound and getting another possession, or kicking it out to the corner or the wing to an open like Derek White or Drew Holiday or Sam Hauser, right? Because the Knicks cannot be doing that for sure. But Mitchell Robinson also sets good screens, which now allows Brunson to drive, to throw up the lob, or to throw up the floater, or to kick it out, right? Josh Hart, I don't think is going to be too much of a threat against the Celtics because they're just going to dare him to shoot. And the Knicks could absolutely try to have him cut baseline, have Brunson drive. They could try to work around that. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have Josh Hart out there in this series over Mitchell Robinson because it's just the way the Celtics are built is, I mean, the Knicks, they've seen a lot of success against them, even though they haven't beaten them, but they saw success, of course, just dominating the glass and getting second chances and just being a bigger team than them. In the last game, the Knicks got on a run, and of course, the Celtics were forced to go to Luke Cornett, who's a former Knick, actually, just to sort of counter Mitch and Cat. This is something that I want to see the Knicks do more of against Boston. I really think it's their only chance. I mean, I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to run OG Hart, Brunson, Cat, and Mikal and beat the Celtics like that. That's kind of the issue. But if they do go to Mitch and they go to Deuce and get production out of him, and maybe even if you want to go down the bench and you look at a guy like a Cameron Payne and a Landry Shamet, what can you get out of them? Because the other thing about it this way is this is going to be a very physical, mentally tough series. So if the Knicks can get some bodies off the bench and just throw at them 8 to 10 minutes even, That'd be big. And then, Josh Hart's still going to get 30 minutes, but what about the other 18 that he's off the court going to Mitchell Robinson and that dual big lineup? And if it works, then to that point, why not just run Mitch even more? I mean, I don't think Mitch is going to be able to play 30, 35 minutes, but I think Mitch can give you 20 to 25. I think he's built for it, and I think he's ready. But you just look at the numbers, and yeah, I mean, the Celtics, they're dominant, but then you start to think like, well, the Knicks are just underperforming. Their guys are missing shots. The Celtics are making everything. Is that how much of that is effort versus talent and versus skill? And adjustments is a big thing too. The Celtics came back and beat the Knicks because they made adjustments. They went to Cornette and Porzingis, and that's what the Knicks are gonna have to do. Do I think the Knicks will beat the Celtics? No. Do I think the Knicks can beat the Celtics? Yes. I see a world where the Knicks clutch up, they defend their home court, but I don't know if the Knicks can beat the Celtics twice in a row. Like that doesn't seem realistic. Healthy Celtics, or at least as healthy as they are right now. So I think they'll have to win the first game because the first game is always going to be easier than the second game. Because like if the Knicks win the first game, I mean they could catch the Celtics, not necessarily like lacking, like it's the defending champions, but they could kind of just catch them on a night where they're very hot and they get that. Maybe they just outshoot them because that's probably how they're going to have to win is just outshoot the Celtics. Like they're going to have to be on from three. The second game, the Celtics get that, and then you go to MSG, you win one of those two, you go back to Boston 2-2, and then to that point, you have to win Game 5 because again, like beating the Celtics twice in a row, I mean, that just doesn't not that it seems impossible, it just doesn't seem probable, seems improbable. So Game 5, you go up 3-2, and then it goes back to MSG, and then that's going to be your best bet is at home with a chance to close out the series. But to that point. I don't know. Celtics, they're going to be ready. And then game 7 in Boston and going to a game 7. I mean, I don't want to flex like going to a 7 game against Boston, but to that point, if you can take the Celtics to 7, I mean, you feel like you can beat anybody else, right? I mean, the Celtics are the best team. They won the championship. Most people have them winning. Maybe some have the Thunder, maybe a few have the Cavs, but the majority of people that know basketball have the Celtics winning the championship. They think they're the best team and the numbers certainly back that up. So if the Knicks can just get to a 7 game against the Celtics and compete, I mean, even if they lose by like 7-8, I mean, there's a lot of faith in the franchise. But if they do lose in 4 or 5, I mean, it's just not a great look on the teams going backwards. They lost in 7 games in the second round last year, and then they went all in on their roster. And then, of course, technically they'd be doing worse. But at the same time, Rome wasn't built overnight, as cliche as that is. It's going to take the Knicks probably a couple of years to gain the chemistry to win a championship. I don't think anybody expected the Knicks to win the title this year, just to come in with Cat and McHale and be able to just run it up.